Genuinely feel like I'm on the news at 10 at the moment. Hello, welcome to another episode of Tea and Toast Talk. This is just an idea that popped into my head during my last episode, the first episode of this series. I mean, this is only the second one, so don't get too carried away. You know how much I like to drop a series once I've started it. I have really good feelings about this one. Something about this one feels right. I feel like this series was needed, and I love unplanned, unscripted. This is just a cool opportunity to encourage myself to do that more, because now I have some sort of idea of how I want them to look and run and be, and yeah, the rules. There aren't no rules. What I was going to say is, it can't be a Tea and Toast Talk video without tea and toast. Someone said that I should do tea and something else every episode, but then I can't call it Tea and Toast Talk, and that takes away 80% of the fun. Yeah, it's really hot in the UK at the moment, so that's why I'm outside. Americans are taking the piss out of the people in the UK who can't deal with this heat at the moment. Please bear in mind that your buildings are designed to keep heat out, and ours are designed to keep heat in. Anyway, hi folks, how you doing? Oh my god. This time I've made my toast really soggy. That's actually how I usually like my marmite and toast. I haven't entirely cracked down whether I believe in God or what I believe in. I believe there is something out there, because I don't understand how anyone can think there is not something out there that could semi-represent a god-like person. But whoever it is, or whatever he is, I think he gave me a sign the other day, because this video is going to tie in quite nicely with my previous episode, which is great because that's how I wanted them to go anyway. A little after I filmed my last episode, I went to the spiritualist church. Speaking of God and all things like that, I would call myself a spiritualist. I attend the church quite a bit. I find it really refreshing and I feel recharged when I go. This particular time though, they had a guy there who was doing some demonstrations, and that basically means you're sat there for an hour and there's a special guest. He's usually someone who's very good at communicating with the dead. He will try and give some messages to people. I go to the church quite a bit, so like I never really expect a message anymore. I've got tons of messages in the past, but you know, it's very far and few between. This time though, the guest speaker actually did approach me. I was like, finally my time has come. He was really good. He was really funny. He was very like quick, and he was very good. He was giving first and second names. Some of you aren't gonna listen to any of this and take any of it in because you just don't believe, and that's fine. But I'm just gonna talk about this as if you are someone who does, so bear with me. He was giving really good evidence of everyone in the room, not just like one person who he may have researched or something whack like that. And then he'd come to me and was like, "You there, the young lady there." And I was like, "You mean me?" And he was like, "Yeah." There's a few things I want to say about what this guy said. The first thing he had said to me was, "I want to come to you because you are very ambitious." So he only had just started the message, and already I was like learning from it, okay? Bear with me. When he had said the word ambitious, I immediately like shut him off. I'm not entirely sure why, so don't ask, but when I heard the word ambitious, and when I've heard the word ambitious in the past, I've always assumed that kind of just means someone who has like a get-go attitude, and someone who is so confident just to do anything and do everything that life fires at them, and someone who's just down to kick ass, basically. But that's not what the word ambitious means.
Having or showing a strong desire and determination to succeed.
It is nothing to do with confidence externally. It's about internally feeling desire and passion and need and want to succeed. And an ambitious person is someone with goals, and someone who sets the bar high because that's what they want, and they're not going to set it low just because they don't think they can get high. And already it was really nice for him to describe me as that. I don't know who this man was, but already this message really helped me figure something out that I've actually been wondering about for quite some time, and that was whether I am too much of a wishful thinker. I have given myself that label for months and months and months. I might even say I've given myself that label for years. When I was doing my tarot readings the other day, I actually filmed it. If you want to see that video, that's on my channel. But I read my tarot cards, and I even told myself when reading the spread that it was telling me I'm a bit of a wishful thinker, and maybe I should calm down on that a bit and stop doing that. So once again, according to Google, wishful thinking is the formation of beliefs and making decisions according to what might be pleasing to imagine, instead of appealing to evidence, rationality, or reality. So the desire to have good goals for yourself and ones that you actually are working towards is a lot different to sitting having a pipe dream about something that you are not even working towards or even trying to work towards. So why did that simple description of myself help? It reminded me it's okay, it's a positive to be an ambitious person if you're revolving your life around a thought that you're not doing anything with. Can be very dangerous, but I'm not that person. I don't think I actually give myself enough credit for being ambitious. That's just a tiny little part of this conversation. Maybe I will make another episode of this on being ambitious, reaching your dreams and targets and such. But for now, we're going to move on swiftly because he had a lot more to say. He then continued on to say how I am in a very competitive industry, and he said that ambition is very key and powerful in such a competitive industry. He's like, you're surrounded by people who will do anything to reach the top. He then continued to say something that actually made me laugh a bit. My mum had laughed at the fact he'd said you're in a very competitive industry because she hears it from me all the time. I always say that. And then he had said, I'm almost seeing no friends in the industry that you're in. And then that's when Adam laughed, because I always tell him how much I struggle with trusting people and becoming friends with people in this industry, because everyone is so out to get each other. And the guy had described the industry that I'm in as very dog eat dog, a group of people that literally just have intentions of rising above each other. Everyone just seems to be wanting to reach the top rather than helping each other out, or just being a strong community or group of people, or just even friends. I wouldn't even care if a YouTube person wanted to be friends with me off the camera and not bring our relationship anywhere near the internet. I don't even have that, because people aren't down for doing that. The majority of people aren't down for doing that. They just want friendship purely on the basis of, you know, standing on top of each other. He didn't really go too much into that. Like, I was hoping he might say something like, ignore those feelings. Perhaps I should delve a little bit more into what everyone tells me to do all the time, which is collaborations and partner with people and stuff, which I'm totally down for. I freaking haven't done a collaboration in absolutely years. I guess I am a very private person and I like to keep myself to myself, but if an opportunity arose where I could make cool art and do something creative with someone, that would be freaking cool. There's always going to be that worry of, what are their actual intentions? Do they actually want to collab because they like me and my content, or do they just like a couple extra numbers? He then continued on to say something that was the most interesting to me, and something that made me want to film this video, because it touches a lot on what I filmed my last episode on, and that was how I am letting what other people have to say affect me. You know what it's like to make things for the internet. There's going to be people that talk back at you. I wasn't necessarily thinking he was talking about like clients that I work with or brands that I work with. He was talking about the audience that I create content for. He had said to me that it's difficult, but it's really important that I remember people's motives, what the reason they have said something truly is, rather than listening too much to what it is they are saying. Somebody could say something purely because, I don't know, they're afraid, sad, having a bad day, jealous, mad, upset, something that isn't your fault or down to you, and then that can lead them on to saying something to you which I'm going to be thinking about personally. He had basically, in a nutshell, told me to stop worrying what people say, which we only spoke about the other day. No part of thinking too much into what people are saying is good for you. Overthinking stuff like that doesn't do much good, if any good. Does it do any good? Probably not. And as he was saying all this stuff to me, like, it was really funny, because I could just hear myself going, yeah, no, I agree, yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. Because I didn't want him to think like he was going down the wrong route. You've always got to make it clear if they're wrong or they're right. They're not there to trick people. People are going to think this about psychics and stuff, but they're there to try and help you and communicate. And if they're on the wrong track, then they're with the wrong person, or they're not supposed to be talking to you. And I had just visions of myself, like, looking up my name on Google, like I do, because I'm concerned about what people are saying behind my back and what they think. And it never occurred to me to think about the reasons those people writing those things. I was just too concerned about reading what they were writing. And I think I just found this all really interesting because the world that I live in is very contradicting in a sense. Like, he was telling me on one hand to consider people's motives, and then on this hand I'm in an industry that everybody is kind of out there to get each other. So in a way I do need to be careful about that. Like, I do need to think about what people's motives are in that sense, but not in this sense. And also for a lot of creative people, a lot of people who have their own business, run their own company or whatever, if you're your own boss, you need to constantly think about what other people can get out of you. And that's not necessarily like a degrading thing, you just genuinely do as part of a business. You need to know what is it they can get from me, because that's how businesses work. That's why clients pay you. They're not just going to give you money for doing nothing. They know they can get something out of you. You need to be thinking about what their motives are, like why this random company has asked me to talk at their event. Like, I need to think about what it is they're actually trying to get from me here, but in a positive way. That's more of like the middle thing where I'm okay with that. There's so much thought that goes on with what I do about motives. Motives is the key word in this. I found it really interesting. I wish that I could sit and talk to him for ages about this. Like, he genuinely just sounded like, even if he was a complete con, because I know people watching this video won't like him, he gave some pretty good advice and pretty good motivation, which I can take. Like, who cares? I'm always down for feeling a bit boosted, especially at a time like this. It just basically gave me a bit of a push, and it made me think, yes, actually, yes. From the beginning, he said to me that he can see me organising people. Yeah, he just said organising people, and at first I was like, do I organise people? I don't know. Then I thought maybe he's thinking of like a perspective of me employing people, but I was like, no, I don't employ people, they hire me. But then he mentioned seeing that in the future, like he can see me doing that. He also said he can see conferences, events, and lots of people being organised. So basically he was talking about conferences. I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know if he means me actually organising a conference or attending conferences. I have no conferences planned at the moment, so this should be interesting to see if anything happens from that. And he actually said people are going to say you can't do it and like you can't achieve that. I've been trying to get in contact with a few event organisers actually about something, which I haven't spoken to you guys about, but I have, and they've all kind of said no. So that's really interesting, the fact he caught on to that. I was like, hell no. So yeah, all in all, I found it really blooming interesting. I feel that we can all sort of learn from this. I know it was my own message, but in some ways it can be very generic. Don't be afraid to be ambitious and to have goals and big dreams, even if they're bigger than all your friends, and even if you seem to always go the extra mile and everyone looks at you like, as long as you're doing something to achieve those things and you're going out there and trying to get them, there ain't nothing wrong with that. And 9 times out of 10, the people telling you you can't do something is probably because they know they wouldn't be able to do it themselves, and you're dreaming big and, well, they aren't. But in general, people that will have nasty things to say, you've got to remember why they're saying it. This is really good because this almost feels like an answer to my previous video. I feel like every episode should just be me growing and trying to develop as a person. Just teaching myself in the previous episode the answers to life. Perhaps something will happen this week that inspires the next episode. That would be freaking cool though. Like, how cool would that be? Anyway guys, I think I'm going to leave it with this one. Let me know what you think of the Tea and Toast Talk series idea. I'm really loving it, so I think either way, if people hate it, I'm still gonna make it. Don't forget that I stream live on YouNow, and I generally talk about really random things like this on there. So become a fan on that. There's always links down there in the description box below. Just quickly before I leave, a little something I forgot to mention was that there is a brand new blog post on my website. I discuss tips and tricks that I have done to help me get along with gigs and festivals a bit better. It's particularly aimed at people who suffer with anxiety or anything like that. If you're prone to panic attacks, or you know, crowds aren't really your thing but you love going to gigs and stuff, perhaps some of the things on there could help you. Please give it a look. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate it, because blogging is something that I just do on the side of all this stuff I do, and it would really, like, I would really appreciate it if you could help bring the website up so that I could possibly make this something that I do officially. And on the side of that, there's actually also a blog which I want to give a quick shout out to, which is also run by somebody called Ellie, but this is that British girl Ellie. I wanted to make sure I got it right. She also runs her own blog. I will leave a link to that below. The reason I'm giving her a shout out is not only because she's lovely and she made me be her dog's godmum. How cute is that? But she's also my top Patreon member, so she supports me and she keeps this channel running, and that is so important to me, and I appreciate it a ton. So please give her website some love. I don't know why I'm stumbling along my words, and thanks for watching, guys. Mwah. I'm also on social media such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat. Subscribe to the channel to be notified every time I make a brand new video, and I will see you on Monday, Wednesday, Friday or Sunday.